Let's take a look back at church history and make some observations about the church fathers, and take note of what was said concerning the gospel authors. We will be looking at the 4th century writings of Eusebius, who is looking back on the 2nd century writings of Irenaeus, who looks back on the late 1st century writings of Polycarp and Papias. And you will see that this Papias makes reference to a John who is likely a different John than the apostle. This is what Eusebius said about Irenaeus, Papias, and Polycarp. Irenaeus said, "These things are attested by Papias, an ancient man who was a hearer of John and a companion of Polycarp." Eusebius points out that Papias himself did not claim to be a hearer or eyewitness to the holy apostles, but that Papias received the doctrines of faith from those who were the apostles' friends. Eusebius caught Papias in a lie because Papias said in his preface that he would not hesitate to put down anything that he had learned at any time from the elders and carefully remembered guaranteeing their truth. For Papias said, "I did not, like the multitude, take pleasure in those that speak much, but in those that teach the truth, not in those that relate strange commandments, but in those that deliver the commandments given by the Lord to faith and springing from the truth itself." So Papias wanted his readers to think that he was telling them the truth, but he never claimed to meet an apostle. This is Papias explaining how he got his information. He said, "If anyone came who had been a follower of the elders, I questioned them in regard to the words of the elders." Even though Papias lived in the late 1st century, he still had to ask other people if they knew what the apostles said. And in this list of names, Papias mentioned 2 different Johns. And now look at what Papias said that John the Presbyter said, who was not John the Apostle. Mark, having become the interpreter of Peter, wrote down accurately, though not in order, whatever he remembered of the things said or done by Christ. And that Mark neither heard from the Lord Jesus nor followed or saw Jesus. But Mark was a follower of Peter. He goes on to say that Mark had an impeccable memory and that he didn't omit anything that he had heard, nor did he make any false statements. So Papias would say that Mark had flawless hearsay. Papias also made a comment about Matthew's writings and said, "So then Matthew wrote the oracles in the Hebrew language, and everyone interpreted them as he was able." This means the Greek version of Matthew that we have was not written by an apostle. And since both Matthew and Peter needed an interpreter, that calls into question this miraculous gift of speaking in tongues, because other people had to translate from Aramaic into Greek.